Hmm. Do you think with the Void Spirit that he's going to itemize specifically just to straight 100 to 0 him, like maybe go an
10
Orchid instead
seconds
of something
remaining.
that's a bit more right-click oriented? Because they don't have a ton of tower taking potential right
5
now, you know?
seconds
Maybe
remaining.
just a Yules will be sufficient?
Uh, the Yule's Ags just looks too good this
Yeah.
game. Like I think the Ags just seems
Oh yeah,
TNC
it's
insane.
it's too good
calculated.
to pass up against all of these like
Hmm.
squishy spell reliant heroes.
Yep.
Execration do go for the Dragon Knight. Okay, so there's the objective taking, and you're right. The same criticism can be leveled against TNC that they have not grabbed a whole lot of building damage just yet. I always love during the draft how Pangolier just kind of like
10
he's
seconds
just swiping
remaining.
his sword around in whoever's next to him. It does not look
5
very
seconds
comfortable. But
remaining.
Just spears him. I was seeing that when they had the Grimstroke Doom. I'm like, oh, that paintbrush, it's like going underneath the
yeah,
Doom Sword. What's going on? Uh, how do you think they're going to round this out? I mean, Slark, potentially, is a pretty decent one here.
yeah. I like the sound of the Slark. There's not a crazy amount of lockdown for him. There is some burst, but you're definitely good against the Dragon Knight. Getting a bunch of stacks up there. The root sounds useful, so that sounds like a really solid option. I don't know what else. What are you thinking? Execration way.
Mm,
I guess they've kind of got options at this point. You know, they've kind of got the building damage with the DK. So Oracle is definitely 5.
yeah.
I feel like DK is mid. I don't know if you want to
Dire
run the
team
risk of the
back.
Dragon Knight ending up against the Doom. That doesn't sound particularly pleasant. So I think maybe you put him mid just for safety's sake. Who knows? Actually, I guess it could also be Dragon Knight like off lane, and then Ember mid,
Ping.
Quap 4.
Baron is banned. It's not a Death Prophet. It's not that type of game.
10 seconds
No.
remaining. Dire
Shaker's
team ban.
gone.
So Monkey King ban and a Void ban for Execration. Yeah, the Faceless Void would have definitely been annoying for these squishies in kind of the same way.
Yep.
Right. So I don't mind that at all. But Execration, what are they? What do you need? What is the
10
ownage pick
seconds remaining.
here? Uh,
5 seconds remaining.
They got plenty of time to think about it.
yeah,
I
they
mean,
do
it
have a lot of
feels
reserve
like a
time.
position 4, right? A little bit.
I don't know.
What about a Nyx?
Is it a good core quap game? Like to me, it almost looks like you want the Ember core this game,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
then you kind of want the quap maybe as the 4, and then you could still pick a 1 if you feel like there's a particularly good 1 in this situation. Like, but I don't know what that would be. There's like the only things that I can think of right now are like a
TNC
silencer
predators
core or
turn
something. Oh, they
Slark.
just take the Slark for themselves. All right.
Yeah. I was about to say, do you think they're just going to block pick it? Because they've taken out the
Okay.
void, and what else really is there that can lock things down in that similar sort of fashion?
Yeah. Um. Well, what do you go now if you're TNC?
Ursa's
10
gone,
seconds
Morphling's
remaining.
gone.
Yeah. It's like
5 seconds remaining.
you don't want to pick Terrorblade. Um.
I mean, Prophet's still there.
Yeah, actually, you know what? I don't know if it would be the worst thing in the world for them. Uh. Hmm. Because whatever it does, it's got to do some building damage, right?
Hmm.
Um, I don't know if they want to Lone Druid. I mean, Lone Druid's still there as well, right?
Hmm.
Doesn't look amazing or anything. Spectre. When in doubt, Spectre out.
Sure,
All right.
it's fine.
It's it's all right here. I mean, the Slark is like not bad against it.
Hmm.
Um, their lineup does not take early towers
Okay.
at all, really. It's like maybe Necrobook on the Doom, and that's about it.
And so it is a 4 Queen of Pain coming out here.
Okay, yeah, I like that here. I don't think the mid Quap looks that amazing, and in general, I think Quap is a better 4 than Ember. Like,
Yes.
Ember 4 is just not my favorite. So, I think you're going to be much more. It's much more reliable to have the Ember be a core and then play with this 4 Quap.
The one thing I'm a little worried about is like, I feel like Slark isn't going to be able to do all too much until they get that instant initiation. Like Dragon Knight is going to have to build a Blink Dagger pretty early on.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't really have the most amazing catch, really. I think he can hunt a little bit, but yeah, in general, the ganking is really going to be either Ember setting up, but like we've said, Ember needs to be careful about his positioning this game, especially against the Grimstroke and the Doom. One, well-timed Phantom's Embrace, or just the Doom catching him could spell the end. So,
but that's the thing, though. I feel like those are really the only heroes, especially early on, before some of those initiation items come out for the rest of his team, that he can potentially go on. Doom because you can get a lot of stacks, and Grimstroke because really, what escape potential do you have? Well, he's got the double crowbars here on Ben-Hur. See how that goes for him.
I think they're pretty cool. I know a lot of people rock the rapiers or the nunchucks.
Prepare for battle.
I think this is up there. I like the flag actually a lot. I think that the flag is slept on. Though, is that in the same spot as the like really flashy Immortal? No, it's actually in the head slot, so
yep.
You can still use it.
Has he got the taunt equipped though? That's the big thing. He doesn't. That's the big play right there. What do you call the Brazilian barbecue? Churrascaria sort of thing.
Right. Okay, what's going on here? So Gabby's got a Necrobook queued up. Who you got this game, Danog?
I think you just got to say TNC. They've got the
pedigree,
the expectation, the experience, and they've got the yikes ping on Tim's being constantly spammed out on the map.
It's value. That's what you want. Yeah, this top lane actually could be pretty heavily pressured. This is, the Oracle feels very similar to, say, like the Winter Wyvern and things, where you're just not as much of a factor in the lane. So maybe that's where the Doom and the Pangolier, while a little bit greedy, can maybe get away with murder up here and put on some pressure. March is also starting up here in the opposing safe lane for the time being. And they've actually blocked out their own big camp just to try and keep it away from the Doom.
I mean, what are your thoughts on putting the Sentry Ward there? Like, it's not on the edge of the box, and if it was, it probably would have caught out this Observer Ward that the Radiant had put there.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm a huge fan of this placement.
Super obvious, doesn't give much time. Like, if you placed it behind the trees, for example, it still, gives that a little bit of extra value, means that they're out of lane on the supports for a little bit longer. Just these little things that add up.
Alright, so mid lane, Spirit versus Spirit. I don't know how I feel like this matchup I've seen go maybe slightly in the Void Spirit's favor, just by virtue of, he has a way to kind of deal with the Flame Guard, but I can't really do anything to deal with the Resonant Pulse, so.
Yeah.
And a lot of Ember's laning does actually come from just constantly harassing people down with the Sleight of Fist, so it's a little bit tricky. I like the way that RR is playing this, forcing Tims to take the creep wave underneath the tower, but now he's getting caught out a little bit. Tims with the swashbuckle through, KP not interested in continuing the pursuit, but Tim's just going to force the TP out here, and he's actually TPing back to the tier 1, so it's going to cost him a salve to heal back up here.
I think that's fine. He's positioning himself to be able to potentially get that pull going off, but well, he's not going to be able to because it was body blocked up. And not even interested in stacking for his Ember Spirits, so
I mean, it would take him a little while to go anywhere useful. I guess this medium camp's pretty close.
Yeah.
So Yaha did just block out this small camp again at bottom, and they're really keeping this shoved underneath the tower for the time being. Dragon Knight using that breathe fire pretty liberally. I think he's already got the soul ring. Actually, no, he's getting a brace for that out.
I was about to say, could he go for an aggressive blink here, because you've got the double Sage's Mask coming through to Gabby, which they had vision of from this deep observer ward, but not going to be able to grab it just yet.
So it gets delivered. Mel at mid, getting pushed back ever so slightly. Does have the CS lead currently. 12 with 7 denies against the 9 and 3 of this Ben-Hur Ember. So it is going to be a much faster bottle for Armel in this situation. And that gives him a little bit of a lead that he can continue to pressure on this mid lane. And for now, with all of these denies, he's actually a level ahead. So able to keep the pressure going. Alright, Tim's is just stealing the enemy pull. Sure. RR gets one. That's about it. And this camp has been unblocked by TNC. So KP able to come over here and start grabbing some slightly more useful creeps.
Extra armor is always really handy for a Doom.
But I think overall TNC pretty happy with how this early game is playing out. The Doom doesn't have a crazy amount of CS, but it's not like he's dying. Tim's has already got the level 3 just from all these constant wave pulls. And they really don't seem to be getting too much pressure out of this Queen of Pain on the offlane. Gabby seems to be farming just fine. And actually a little bit of pressure getting put onto this Dragon Knight. They spotted the Queen of Pain on the Observer where they know that she's not here. So Gabby even skilling up a point into the Desolate. And Dragon Knight does end up dropping pretty low from all that pressure. What is Quap up to at mid? He throws it a dagger onto Armel, trying to protect this 4-minute room, which does end up spawning bottom, so that's going to end up going to Ben-Hur, but unfortunately he doesn't have the bottle just yet, so it's just going to be a grab for the Quap, and she's going to use it to head all the way back to base.
Good value. They are going to be able to finally grab the boots that were coming out and sniped previously onto Palos here, so he's going to have a bit of an easier time contesting up here against KP. Never want to be able to just stand inside that scorched earth. But even though not leading on the last hit, still easily in first position right now on KP, taking maximum advantage of that Doom. Sorry, the Devour. And hasn't really spent anything in terms of his regen, so going pretty well for him.
Quap, keeping the pressure going onto March. Yeah, did manage to just jump away from the Ink Swell, and that will force a TP out. So it's going to be both bottom bounties secured by Execration. TNC looking to secure both of the top ones, and just continuing to drag these waves non-stop. Looks like Armel going to come grab one for himself. A sliver of experience, 5 EXP away from his level 6. And at that point, this wave bottom is pretty far up, so I feel like this Dragon Knight needs to be careful, especially once the Grimstroke maybe makes his way back to bottom. Or they could even just try for a kill at mid. No level 6 just yet for Ben-Hur. That seems to be the play.
Maybe praying for a bit of luck with the lucky shot for that extra little bit of armor reduction.
Okay, have they seen him yet? No, don't think so. There's no ward. Alright, now they spot March, and Ben-Hur's like, no, thank you. I'm out of here. I'm gonna go hit this jungle camp and get my level 6. That's all I need. Alright. They scan, he throws a remnant out, runs forward. Can they keep him locked down? No. Jumps away, and Armel will be the one to secure that 6-minute rune.
So a failed rotation. Gabby's getting going on a little bit down here. He's run out of regen with that Tango being used, but he should be okay.
This one was
I still think they got to be careful about the Void Spirit deciding that he wants to come down bottom, though they might not even need him with both of these supports rotating through. Blink is available for Yaha. Dragon Knight's pretty tanky. Tim's just going to throw out the Swashbuckle for a little bit of harassment, and Gabby salving up. Still no first blood. 6 minutes in, not a whole lot of action. Just laning stage continuing, very, very slightly on the net worth for TNC currently, but just not a whole lot going on.
TNC have to be pretty happy with a passive game, right? You're able to get more value out of the Doom's Devour. You've got a Spectre on your team. They're very happy.
KP's going Boots of Travel first.
Yeah.
It's like,
Why not?
alright,
How do you run?
give me the well. It's kind of a farming item, right? I think I kind of think of Boots of Travel as like a ganking Midas, right? Necrobook is the actually good Midas. Midas is bad Midas, and Boots of Travel is ganking Midas.
Midas is bad Midas.
Yep.
I agree entirely.
Yeah, just try and argue. All right, nice ward from Execration. Is going to spot the fact that Armel is coming up towards top, and he is looking for blood. I think RR. Oh, did he at least manage to get the fate? Wait, where's this fate approach?
Do you send it back?
I'm not sure. That's first blood at bottom, actually. Gabby dying. Armel, one more touch to finish it off. Palos getting run at. They do have this Doom available. He was trying to play around the Shadow Dance. Now he needs to get into these trees. They're still chasing. They don't manage to land the Remnant, but March body blocking him in a little bit. And the silence just lasts way too long. So even with spotting that rotation, Armel going to end up getting the double kill.
Right. Nicely done by TNC. He did end up sending it back to base with a Fated Brooch, so at least not losing out on that early advantage. But on bot side, as we were saying before, Gabby did end up dropping down, and this level 6 from the DK being used to start putting some real pressure onto the tower.
And I don't feel like the Slark really needed to die there. So it could have actually been a pretty good exchange across the map, only losing your Oracle. And then the Spectre dying bottom, but instead, now trying to make it go onto Tim's. He does have the Swashbuckle. He's also got the TP coming through, and now the Haunt. Queen of Pain in a little bit too deep. Tim's, can he get the deny? Gabby thought about it for a second, but it will still be a kill for the Dragon Knight. KP
got the
chasing
Breathe Fire.
in. Yeah, Breathe Fire's there. Gabby's still chasing. KP, can he close the gap for this Thunderclap? Do they even need it? One more punch is going to do, and that is a double kill for the Doom.
Your entrails festoon.
And now he's got the BOTs.
Plus 600 gold, you know, just for fun, you know.
Oh, March dying top, but looking for the turnaround is Armel. Do not land the Remnant and the step forward, but Palos has already run out of the Shadow Dance. He's just trying to juke around the fog. Armel still chasing. 5 seconds to go on both of his cooldowns. The Pounce is off. Heads up and realizes very quickly that there is vision over here. So just going to keep on running. But just ends up being a 1-for-1 at top. But that is the Ember dying for the Grimstroke, so not great for Execration, however you slice it.
No, absolutely not. And, well, they're going to look to try and take a bit more control out on this top side. You can see some pressure being put onto Armel here, as well as the dewarding going on from RR, but it should be a 1-for-1 trade with these outposts, so neither team too sad about that.
And they're going to be careful about how far he chases. There is a Grimstroke back here, so there's the Phantom's Embrace. If he just goes for the rune, he might walk straight into an Aether Remnant. Immediate silence. He wanted that bounty, but Armel's going to claim his. And now RR also maybe the target. They've only got the one Astral Step, so need to land the slow into the immediate Aether Remnant. He's maybe got the Fate's Edict to protect himself a little bit. No. Not even going to help.
KP in a bit of trouble. 3-man rotation.
He's speedy, though. The Pounce is still available. They do connect it. Yaha grabbing the kill.
Not speedy enough.
No. Well, we had 0 kills in like 6.5 minutes, and now we have 11 kills at 10.5. So this game is really starting to get active. The laning stage breaking down. With this next Dragon Form, it does seem like they should be able to take out the bottom tier 1 tower. Gabby already jungling up with the Necrobook. So going to work there. Ben-Hur pushing out mid lane a little bit.
Armel's got top.
Yeah, it's kind of slow sieging. He's got a really nice neutral item. Arcane Ring, the stats feel too good. Doom onto the Dragon Knight. Rolling Thunder through. Quap does have the blink available, but the silence coming in. And Armel finishing off that kill. Now DK surrounded by 4. Double kill for this Void Spirit. Getting very close to the Yules. Palos is even down here. Along with the rest of Execration, they're actually thinking about trying to take this fight. Ben-Hur coming over. They gotta be careful. Armel still got some spells. They do have the damage onto the Doom if they can keep him trapped under the tower. Doing good work. Armel living. Another Astral Step through. Good damage, and now March looking for the turnaround with the Soulbind. We're gonna deal with the silence quickly, and Ember still has some remnants. Sonic Wave. Armel, if they could get his streak, it would be some nice gold for them. And Ben-Hur does clean it up. It's been the Void Spirit
Nice
show
attempt,
so
though.
far. But, yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah. Wonder if he was able. I wasn't watching. Did he buy out before that that death there? Because he's getting real close to finishing up that Yule Scepter, as we were expecting. He should get it by about the 13 or so minute mark. So going to continue rotating around the map, creating more space for the Spectre. And you know, it has to be said, with all that going on, no Gabby present, and that's just because he's happily farming away, getting closer and closer. He's got his Necro book. He wants to hit him level 10. And then, pretty standard, just going into the Relic and eventually the Radiance.
KP getting gone on to get it mid. The disarm does come out onto the Ember Spirit, and now the roll through from Tim's. He's also got the Ink Swell on top of him. So trouble for the Dragon Knight. No save for the Oracle. And that is just going to end up being 2 quick kills. They already used it on the Ember, but he's getting dragged back in. Doesn't have any more remnants. And that's just 3 for TNC.
Yeah, another value rotation. He's finished up the Yule Scepter now, being brought out to him. So 13 minute mark, he's going to grab it, and as expected, he's going to go straight into that Ag Scepter. So starting out, it's nice to have this this Queen of Pain. You know, we saw in the bottom lane, really impactful with being able to get that Sonic Wave off, eventually getting that kill onto Armel's Void Spirit. But unless you're able to follow it up with consistent teamfight presence, which you don't have until you get a bit more damage, a bit more maneuverability, it's just not the case.
I'm starting to question a little bit what the Oracle can really do this game.
Die.
Maybe it gets a little bit better later on.
Oh, Slark, oh no.
He's not going to get chain stunned, so could get the Shadow Dance off, and the team is coming over to help. Armel, quick to assimilate, looking for the jump out. March just going to put his life on the line here to throw out the Soulbind. Armel still kiting. I don't think there's any help coming. Grimstar going to try for the TP out, and Tim's actually covering with the Rolling Thunder. That buys them the space, and Execration get nothing for that 5-man rotation, and you got to keep looking because the Spectre is just going to keep on farming. As I say that, Gabby misses the CS, but you know, you get the idea.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, right? If you go on a Spectre, it's not like the Spectre can rotate to the rest of his team. You know, if you make that full 5-man commitment, it feels like you kind of have to focus Spec first and foremost. And the Spirit's been caught out, but he's not going to die.
Yeah, he's fine. It does need to be said that I feel like TNC have gotten quite lucky with the neutral items here, like getting the Iron Talon on the Spectre and getting the Arcane Ring for the Void Spirit. Definitely some of the best for those two. Ben-Hur, a little bit light in the remnants. Gonna get Yules'd up. They do have a Doom. I don't even know if they need it. They're just gonna keep the Chain Stun going, and there's the kill.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's top
That
tower
greed,
is under attack.
being able to stick around in that jungle once you've lost that tier 1 tower is a very dangerous place to be. Of course, Ember Spirit does have a lot of maneuverability and potential options there, but as we saw, when you've got 4 heroes rotating through, there's really not too much that you can do.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
And they're gonna keep this going. Doom TPing down bottom. Gabby's still just kind of farming at the edges of this dire vision, and it does seem like Execration maybe gonna get pushed out of the Radiant jungle in a second, but still able to keep farming it for now.
For my coffers.
Oh, man, if Armel gets a fast Aghanim's timing this game, it's just gonna be so rough for Execration.
I like what he's doing here. He's got Tim's and March standing nearby, just making sure he doesn't die. You've always got KP's presence there with the Boots of Travel. They might be looking for a go here onto Palos, especially after he uses this. Oh,
They're sitting behind him. They do have the False Promise, but the Rolling Thunder is just connecting onto everybody. They get obliterated by the Haunt. The 2 supports try to help out, but they're just going to end up being more fuel for the fire. Armel with the double kill, and what is everybody else doing on the map right now for Execration? Because of, you know, Dragon Knight's just hitting a jungle camp, Ben-Hur pushing out the mid lane a little bit. No real trade happening, and Armel's even looking for more.
Yeah. I mean, I can understand with Ben-Hur, it feels like you really need the Spirit Vessel to try and make anything happen on the map, but it's just a little optimistic when you're coming up against a Spectre, right? Who's probably going to hit a similar sort of Radiance timing to your Spirit Vessel timing.
Hit the Remnants. Dragon Knight trying to help out. They've got the Silence and the Disarm, so he can't escape. Does get the slide off at the end. All right, Ben-Hur living, but doesn't seem like Dragon Knight's going to be quite so lucky. Sonic Wave pushback. KP running forward. A little bit more damage to finish off this Dragon Knight. He's still surviving, courtesy of the Edict. They can't decide what they want to do with the Soul Binds. KP standing strong in the front lines. Palos does actually come in. And he's able to clean up March. Armel in the back lines a bit with his haste rune. KP still fighting. Looking like he might just end up being a few more stacks for this Slark. With the Fusel Blade starting to go to work. All right.
It's just KP there.
Yeah.
I think the big difference that time around is just the target prioritization, right? Armel spent the entire team fight trying to take down this Dragon Knight with minimal success. You know, he had the Oracle backing him up, getting those Fortune Send off to purge the slows that were coming out from him, and well, it was enough for him to get away with that Dragon's Blood.
And they almost got the perfect like chain stun on the Ember, but managed to get the slide off, and at that point we weren't going to do too much more. Though Ben-Hur, you evaded death once. Will you be so lucky the second time around? He's fine.
Yes. A little slow with the Aether Remnant that time.
I think he was just trying to figure out where the angle was to not hit a creep first before he dropped out of it. But yeah, that was actually. If he has a Remnant down, can you even... Does he go straight into the Remnant stun, or does he, can he jump out? I'm not sure.
No. Pretty sure he goes straight into it.
Execration.
Tower is under
Smoked up, running forward. March, the obvious target. They're gonna hit him with the dagger. Doesn't have a TP, so he is looking very dead. The question is, can they get anything else? Armel just gonna quickly grab this clumsy net and pass it over to Tim, since they actually might still want to make some kind of a play here, if at all possible. Got some vision to play around, so they kind of know what's going on in this area.
Alright, Relic acquired for Gabby. Getting closer to that Radiance, and we've seen immediately the TNC have this habit of just saying, right, go time, and immediately using it, not wanting to waste even 10 seconds when they've got this
Dire scan, they found Tim's. Alright, he's immediately stunned. Should be nowhere to save him. And Armel revealing that he is up here as he throws out the Remnant. Yeah, seeming like they're still really eager to find something with the Haunt. I mean, KP's even got the BOTs, so Boots of Travel cooling down 25 seconds.
They found him a little bit. Diffusal Blade being popped, but not going to catch him. Back far enough, uses the Dissimulate to be able to get away. Always a risk with
They got to be careful about TPing like this.
Yeah.
Not going to get punished at all. They swap sides of the map, and that's when TNC can just come TPing after you. And they're still trying for it. Two-man smoke. They know that the Slark can't get here, and the Spectre doesn't have the Radiance, but they might not even necessarily need it. Blink away from the Dragon Knight. Couldn't quite get the catch. Didn't have the vision. Still scary if you're Execration. But the Slark's farm is starting to accelerate a little bit more. He's finding himself among those top on the net worth. He's just going to be going for an S&Y next. Armel has not been doing that much farming in the last couple of minutes, but still moving towards the Aghanim Scepter pretty quickly. And what do we got? We just got the Vessel so far on Ben-Hur.
Yep. I just realized actually how effective this Grove Bow is on Armel. Obviously, doesn't get any benefit from the attack range, but considering with the Astral Step you attack all the enemies that you go through, that minus 12% magic resistance is always going to be really impactful for yourself and your team.
Yeah, they've got a lot of AoE magical damage, actually. Right? The Scorched Earth, everything from Grimstroke, Rolling Thunder.
Eventually Radiance.
Yeah, it's all going to add up. And Gabby's even holding on to the Nether Shawl currently. So.
Yeah, he's got the Radiance now as well.
Oh, this next fight is going to be nasty.
They're all grouped up. They want to make something happen.
Oh, Armel's Invis. Looking for the lockdown onto Ben-Hur. Starting this out. Here comes the Remnant. Can he jump away? No. Here comes the Haunt. They're even going to doom him just to make 100% sure that they get this kill. Can they find a little bit more? They're pinging on the Dragon Knight. He's going to be able to blink in just a second, so he's fine.
I really like that from RR, though. Didn't even think for a second. He's like, I'm getting burned, TP, straight away. Didn't even try and make the save because, I mean, you saw they dropped everything on that Ember Spirit, and he would have just been more fuel to the fire.
Yeah, there really was nothing that they could do there. Paul's going to come up, grab a little bit of Necrobook farm. Pretty happy with that. Armel pressuring him, gets the taunt. Is this enough damage? He gets the Shadow Dance off, but he's still just dead.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
I feel like that was the Grove Bow difference, right? He was very close to getting that Shadow Dance off, but the damage itself from the Astral Step, like the laggy damage, if that makes sense, and then everything else, of course, is just enough to take him out, and I think that allows him to finish off his Ag Scepter, so yeah. Good luck to anyone that gets caught out by this Void Spirit, that's all I have to say.
Yeah, these silences are going to be brutal now. But the front, the back line, sorry, is just going to get destroyed, right? Void Spirit's going to jump on top of the Oracle and the Quap, and they're just not going to be able to do anything. Even somebody like the Dragon Knight, right? Sure, he's tanky, but the silence means you're just not doing what you want to do in these fights. Ben-Hur getting forced into a BKB. Oh, comes in next. Okay, Dragon Knight
Nice
tanking
block.
up the Remnant. Nicely done. But still, they're able to keep this fight going, and DK going to be the target instead. Inkswell plus the Rolling Thunder. Keep the chain stun going. And he tanks the gank for his...
Yeah, unfortunate, especially considering they had to use the Elder Dragon form for that. A little bit unfortunate. It does mean that the reveal of the Ags isn't quite as impactful as TNC were hoping, especially considering he hit it at essentially at the exact same time he hit his level 15, so the extra 80 Resonant Pulse damage was not quite as useful as he would have hoped.
Well, TNC just going to go straight into the pit. They do have another Haunt in 20 seconds. Execration smoked up inside of the Radiant jungle currently. But only so much room that they can actually utilize. This tier 1 mid is still standing. Apollo's going to be showing at bottom. And even with the scan, can they do anything about this? Doom is at the ready. KP actually only opting to put the 1 point into it. I guess it doesn't really scale very well, huh? It's only an extra 15 DPS and just costs 2 more mana. May as well just max out your other abilities.
Well, speaking of KP, he's very close to picking up that Blink Dagger, only about 250 gold away. Might get it from this gank, but the question is, will he need it to essentially make it a success for them, or is it going to be another case of Armel leading the way and catching someone out one more time?
And they can kind of go up these blind high grounds. If the smoke breaks, they can just instantly pop the Haunt and find the jump. Oh, they see Palos now. Alright, they're going to try and send in Armel first. There's a silence. Going to yields him up. Maybe use the Doom just to secure it. Nope, don't even need it. KP, I think, thought about it for a second, but that kill is guaranteed. And Gabby not even letting them get away with anything up top. He's just holding the wave, looking to pressure this tier 2. Ben-Hur getting burned up a little bit, and there are more heroes here looking to help out. Ben-Hur's got the Remnant. Where is it, in fact? Still getting just chased by Gabby this entire time. Now the Haunt comes out to keep on chasing. Gabby really wants this kill, and it seems like Ben-Hur might just get ticked out. He does just barely get out of the Radiance range. Meanwhile, the Haunt and the rest of TNC are just cleaning up the Dragon Knight and the Oracle.
Yeah, perfect use of the Soulbind, locks them together, and then with the Inkswell combination, it just means that there's no way for them getting away. Lacking a little bit of coordination, a little bit of communication to make sure they were running in the same direction, and it was a little bit of that that difficult situation. 25 minutes coming up. TNC have a strong foothold in this game, and they're going to strengthen it even more with these bounty runes picked up. It's looking pretty solid. What are we seeing? 95% win chance.
Yeah. Just very, very difficult to bring back a deficit like this. They almost need a fight where Slark just gets to go ham and get, you know, a ton of stacks going. Certainly not going to be easy to fight into this Aegis.
We haven't seen a single one. It's all been on the back foot. Never the entire team there.
It's not even like they can bait, really, right? Like, Armel just goes in, there's the silence. Palos does manage to get a little bit of a jump away, but he's already lost half of his HP, and KP just looking for him. They do throw out the ultimate. KP taking a lot of damage. He gets the BKB off at the last second, but still going to end up being brought down. Gabby, just the immediate Manta, wants to reset, doesn't want anything to do with this fight anymore. A little bit too deep from KP.
That's exactly what they wanted, right? Like, now they've reached level 18 on the Slark, so he's going to be able to be a little bit more efficient with his farming. They got popped the 10-second BKB out of KP and still got the kill. Another permanent Agi going towards the Slark. And slows down this game a little bit. And normally against a Spectre, you wouldn't be all too happy about that. But when the deficit is like this, it's not the worst situation to be in.
So how did we get to this position? Like, what have TNC done, or what have Execration done wrong this game that it's just kind of snowballed to this point? Is it a draft thing? Is it the way they played the lanes thing? What's the reason?
It's this situation happening over and over again with Ben-Hur dying, and it just feels like, sure, they kind of take that fight on on their side of the map, but there's immediate objectives that they can take straight afterwards, right? They took a few around the middle of the map, they could transition that into the Roshan, and they're really not too worried about wasting any time. Like, they can just leave Gabby here, and he's probably one of the more efficient players that we're seeing within the Southeast Asian region.
Armo with the double jump forward. They're looking for this Dragon Knight. Who are they haunting in on, actually? It's RR trying to escape with the TP. Good luck to you, my friend. Are they going to let the Dragon Knight go? Armel's still chasing him. Paolo's just going to go for the ulti and the TP out. Dragon Knight not so lucky. Just going to get surrounded and finished off. Godlike for Armel.
Yeah, it just, like we were saying before, the one team fight that they took is because they were finally able to work together as a team on Execration. They had the Oracle there, so you could get the false promise off onto Palos. He was able to turn around and confidently fight into the Doom. Every single one of these other ones, it's like they pick off a couple of people, and then it's just like lambs to the slaughter, right? They've never rotated essentially through as 5, or if they have, it's been a really minor target that they've found.
Oh, yeah, has the target. Tim's rolling forward. He does have the clumsy net once he finds him, so he can just jump out and net him up potentially. There you go, with the silence, and it's another kill for March. Only his second of the game. They've got a Doom on the Slark as well at bottom, so he's also getting cleaned up.
Weak in lowest hell.
And it just, casual regen being popped by Gabby, making sure he's able to stay out on the map.
KP's like, why did you take that? Your Aegis was just about to get reclaimed. I have to go base. What's going on?
He probably didn't realize.
Oh, 17k now the leads.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Immediate disarm onto the Dragon Knight. Spirit Vessel is getting helped out a little bit by RR. Can he make it back to the base? Gabby is doing so much damage here. He does get the blink up onto the high ground. Tim's still chasing. One quick bash and one more quick kill. The tier 2 is still up, but at this point it feels like TNC can just run at them wherever they are on the map. Ben-Hur is desperately trying to get this top tier 1 tower, but
Dire's middle
can't even get
tower has
that.
fallen.
Well, tier 2, don't care. And again, yeah, KP going this suicidal style of build. He's got the plate mail, Shiva's Guard is next, and once he pops that BKB in the Scorched Earth, what can you really do against it?
The game is just completely unplayable for the backline now, right? Like, Haunt gets popped, you're losing half of your HP to that. There's a Void Spirit who has nothing to worry about from your heroes, so he's just gonna silence you. Wait for it. So much chain stun, beyond godlike streak. Yaha trying to help out. Essence Strings can keep him alive for a second longer. RR even getting caught inside of the base. We got a clumsy net. Dragon Knight trying to help, but here comes the Soulbind. You don't want to get too close to your buddy. They're going to buy back on the Quap. Sonic Wave through, but the damage is just not enough. Double kill for Armel. They're buying back 3 and now trying to chase. They get the chains onto Gabby, but it's still just outside of the base. And he's got his team here helping him out. TNC looking to escort him back to safety. And Palos can't afford to die. He does get the Shadow Dance off this time around, but it's just to focus on a Necro Book. It's not to get a kill. And TNC, again, just diving past the tier 2 tower.
Well, heavy commitment with those triple buybacks, and it just means that the next death on them is essentially going to be GG. Even with this outer tier 2 tower remaining, I think that's probably where TNC are going to posture themselves, at least for the next minute or so, considering we've got a Roche potential in around that time. Yeah.
Execration.
Gabby, just farming.
Yep. Just going for Scotty. Execration trying to break out of this chokehold. There's no way to farm your way back into this game, but it also doesn't feel like they can win team fights, so... Silence coming out. Armel's going to be fine. They are keeping the Quap alive for a little bit longer. TNC don't have their full strength here. They do have the Doom available. Soulbind up in 3 seconds, so I think TNC might just be able to keep on going. They do not have the Haunt. So Gabby is kind of by himself down here at bottom, and I think that's maybe where Execration are looking to put their attention. They do finally chase down RR and finish him off. KP still running out, looking for a little bit more. Dragon Knight is just desperately trying to grab these neutral items. He gets a repair kit, but that might just extend his suffering at this point.
Yeah, there's just nothing they can do.
Yeah, they can't farm, they can't win fights. So at that point, what plays are even left to you, right? Dragon Knight's still trying to just take this top tower. They can't even split push because 2 of the lanes still have tier 1s. So you can get the lane to like the elbow, and then that's it. somebody TPs and that's the end of your fun.
Mm-hmm. And it might, it sounds weird, but it might even be counterintuitive to take the tier 1 tower against TNC, right? Because that refreshes the glyphs. So if they're trying to clear out these creep waves when they're pushing into the base, they can just pop it and use it in an offensive way.
Yeah. Well, Fashion Palos losing half of his HP pretty much immediately. Gabby just gonna keep on gliding forward. Shadow Dance coming out. Palos feeling like he needs to commit, but Tim's still doing all right. Sonic Wave is gonna bring him down. Rolling Thunder not all that helpful, and still gonna keep on chasing. They do have the Manta on Gabby.
KP's not here.
No, they're gonna wait for the chains. Perhaps he's actually jumping into the backline, just hopping around everywhere. Here comes the Soulbind. Both of those heroes just getting instantly eliminated, and they even jump forward with the Inkswell to lock onto Ben-Hur. Well, Armel just cleaning house, punishing them. They didn't even need KP. He was just chilling top, finishing off the Shivas.
He's happy.
He's farmed. He's having a very good time. And now with a 28k lead, TNC finally feeling like they can kind of high ground.
It's over.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
They have to call it, right?
Yeah,
like they saw all the buybacks from the previous team fight. Slark just died again, dead for 100 seconds. KP hasn't even been part of this team fight.
Dire's bottom tower has fallen. Dire's bottom barracks are under attack.
There we go.
Yeah, alright, there we go. A little bit of a conversation maybe about this game. Put it behind you, prepare for the next one, and then just call the GG, because that is that. Nicely executed by TNC. It really felt like Armel just kind of popped off. Got a lot done. They killed the Ember a whole bunch. We keep talking time and time again about how the Ember has this kind of consistent no matter what impact, but this game, not necessarily the case. I think the Oracle pick also just kind of not working the way that they were hoping it would. Didn't do anything to the greedy offlane of the Pango plus the Doom, and then didn't really do anything in the mid game either. So I don't know.
Yeah, and I mean, what can you say about a 21-1-9 Void Spirit, you know, early into the game? Getting a little bit lucky with some of the neutral items, as we were saying before. Iron Talon getting picked up nice and early on, the Arcane Ring into the Grove Bow, just enabling Armel to snowball that little bit further, but it just felt like Ben-Hur, was getting picked off over and over again and not having quite the impact that he would want. Yeah. So... yeah, Yaha, it has to be said, I thought Yaha had an alright game on this position for Queen of Pain, you know, did a lot of damage for his team. There was some multi-man sonic waves coming through, but just not quite enough.
Yeah, maybe could have been I was about to say maybe it could have been a little bit of a different situation if they'd had something other than the Dragon Knight in the offlane to be able to pressure, because it did feel like Gabby kind of got away with a lot, right? The Quap is a really good pressure position but I don't really feel like they shut down Gabby's farm all that much. And then when they, I guess when they tried to really shut him down by coming to take that bottom tier 1 tower, that's when TNC just responded with everybody and, you know, got all of those kills. So,
yeah, it was a rough one.
Yeah, well, we'll just have to see if Game 2 can be any better for Execration. It's our last game of the night, so you won't want to miss it. Catch us back here in a couple of minutes for Game 2 of TNC versus Execration.